we shift our focus to the skies with a fireside chat exploring one of the most exciting frontiers in autonomous mobility, urban air mobility. This session will examine the opportunities and challenges of the eVTOLs, how aerial mobility can be integrated into existing transport frameworks, and the regulatory and safety advancements needed to bring this future to life. To moderate this conversation is Susan Carlin, award-winning journalist and regular contributor to Fast Company. Please welcome our moderator to the stage. And for our panelists, Dr. Talib El-Hannai, UAE General Manager, Archer Aviation. Kees van Schaak, Chief Investment Officer, Abu Dhabi Airports. Matt Chasen, Chief Executive Officer, Left Aircraft. Ali Mohammed Al-Mulla, Assistant Manager, Emerging Technologies, General Civil Aviation. Susan, the floor is all yours.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for hanging in. When I did a few stories on eVTOLs, I kept hearing the same sentence, which is, we have an office in the United States and one in Abu Dhabi. And I kept hearing that over and over again, and I began to wonder, what is going on with Abu Dhabi and air taxis? And we're about to find out. So I want to take you on a journey 10 years into the future. It's now 2035, and air taxis, eVTOLs are everywhere, taking people from Abu Dhabi to Dubai, to the airport, and to other parts of the UAE. So tell me, I want to go down the line. I want to hear everyone's vision for what that future is going to look like. What's going to be happening? Who wants to go first? Okay, go ahead, Kees.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think in 2035, when we look at it from an airport perspective, I think we will have connected the most beautiful airport in the world, Zayed International, with a network of more than 10 vertiports in the Emirate, connecting indeed alleen up to 10 more places in the Emirate, the hotspots for tourists, the hotspots for business, doing business, and getting you seamlessly from the key nodes in that network of up to 14 nodes to wherever you would like to be, including, of course, in that time, by that time, thanks to the battery development across to the other Emirates, all the way up to Ras Al Khaimah, if you like. So I see a vision of us super connecting as an airport, the Emirates, super connecting from a point of view of the various modes of transportation, be it a tram, be it a train, be it aircraft, be it the sea, and all these modes together will make it a very enjoyable, seamless travel experience.
Okay. Does anyone else want to jump in? Ali? Is that working?
Yes. What I imagine in 2035 is, before I answer that, I would like to take you 10 or 15 years back. If you would have asked me the same question, I would have said that maybe we were watching too many science fiction movies. But 10 years or 15 years ahead, we are having these discussions that how we imagine cities will look like after 10 years. Yes, I want to say that after 10 years, I wake up in the morning, I take my smartphone and be able to book an eVTOL flight to get from point A to point B. For me personally, that's very important because I've worked 20 years. I mean, I'm from Sharjah, and I've worked my whole life in Dubai or Abu Dhabi, so I know what traffic means. So I look forward to that day. I look forward to that time that we see eVTOL aircraft flying between cities, making life easier for everyone. But at the same time, that vision, that image will be based on the work which we do today. The collaboration between industry and regulators. How strong is, as a regulatory framework, how strong is it, yet how agile is it? Because this is a new technology, it is an ever-evolving landscape. I mean, what is today might be different after 6 months or 1 year. So we need to have an agile, yet strong regulatory framework. Organizations and manufacturers need to be able to demonstrate the safety, reliability, and security of these vehicles. And at the same time, the public, they have to accept it. I mean, there is acceptance, but at the same time, they need to be confident to be able to board these vehicles. And it is our job to make sure that happens. Thank you.
Thanks. So Matt, how about from, so you're representing the private industry side. So what do you envision, and also Tali, you as well, what do you both envision for 10 years in the future with respect to your side of the sector?
Yeah, so as a vehicle developer and operator, we actually have kind of a unique perspective on this. You know, to me, the true vision of eVTOL aircraft, the true capabilities, are really to take you door to door, right? Or more typically rooftop to rooftop. So our approach, you know, what I see building over the next 10 years is a service that allows you to use your smartphone and hail an aircraft for you. And actually, when we developed our aircraft, we asked ourselves kind of first principles questions. You know, 85% of trips that you take in your car are short range, about 15 miles or less. And 90% of the trips you take, it's just you, single occupant. So our vision for the future is that from your smartphone, you can hail our aircraft, which is a single seat ultralight, and it will pick you up where you are. That could be your office, parking garage rooftop, shopping mall. Very small aircraft can fit anywhere, can land on any rooftop developed to modern building codes. And then it'll take you to where you're going directly. So point-to-point, door-to-door transportation, leveraging the true vertical takeoff and land anywhere capabilities that's possible.
Talib?
Yeah, thank you, Susan. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Good afternoon. So for those that might not be familiar with Archer Aviation, Archer designs and develops electric aircraft. We're a California-based company, and we're looking to launch our first electric air taxis right here in the UAE next year. Before I talk about the next 10 years, I'd like to talk about 1 year in the future, where last week the UAE Director General of the Civil Aviation Authority said electric air taxis likely find a regulatory pathway here by Q3 of next year. So we're talking less than a year from now, where you'll be able to see these aircraft starting operations here. So I think for us, that's very exciting. And when you tell me to think 10 years in the future, I'm imagining hundreds of these vehicles flying in the skies of the UAE, and not only the UAE, I expect it all over the region. So there's a lot of interest from our friends and our neighbors here in this part of the world, and watching what's happening in the UAE, and particularly in Abu Dhabi very closely. We've already started flights last July right here in Abu Dhabi in front of the Grand Mosque. So that was our inaugural test flight in the UAE. And since then, we've continued to fly. And we're very excited about what's coming here, you know, in 12 months' time, but also in 10 years. And I'd like to answer the first part of your discussion, which is why is everyone here in Abu Dhabi, right? What's going on with electric air taxis in Abu Dhabi? We've enjoyed a tremendous level of support from the Abu Dhabi Investment Office. They've really been our partners here from day one for the last 2+ years. They've thrown such a great event here with Abu Dhabi Autonomous Week, and we're excited to continue our partnership with them all the way through to commercial launch, and then scaling and having those hundreds of vehicles in the air.
So I want to riff off what Ali and Talib were saying about pretty much the future is now. And go into, we're dialing it back to the present and looking at the steps that we're taking now to make that future a reality. So, Case, talk to me about your vision for the future of the airport as a mobility hub, like reimagining the space as that.
Yeah, so starting January, we will offer the two vertiports at our two international airports, Zayed International and Bateen, Bateen Executive Airport, closely followed a couple of months later by another two, what we call off-airport locations, clearly yet to be identified tourist hotspots where there's a lot of traffic, where we know that the initial traffic and those interested in taking up flights with the launch operator by that time will be keen to fly to. So that is a very logic part of ramping up the advanced air mobility movement to connect it to an airport. That's of course underlying the business model. That's why we are in the business. We have been announced today morning as being the anchor investor for setting up the vertiport network in Abu Dhabi. And this is what we believe in, connecting our airports with, of course, centers of interest. But it won't stop with that. Of course, as you all know, the UAE is embarking on a rollout of Etihad Rail, about tram systems, and we believe there must be a future for interconnecting all these transport flows. It's a matter of time, I believe, before we see us join up forces and make sure that we have seamless travel, as I mentioned before, in the Emirates. Not only in the Emirate of Abu Dhabi, but also in the UAE wide. So this vision of this super connecting multimodal hubs, including eVTOLs flying around at a certain time, pilotless, most importantly. I truly believe there will be an Etihad A380 flying into Zayed International, and on long final there will be an Archer aircraft or another operator flying into the same airport. Of course, nicely separated from each other, which brings complexity, but it will happen. It's just a matter of time.
Thank you. And Ali, as a regulatory guy, what kind of regulations are you now putting in place, and how are you collaborating with private industry to ensure safety and public acceptance?
Thanks, Susan. Us as a regulator, our approach to the regulatory approach for advanced air mobility, for eVTOLs, is that we are taking a progressive approach, which means that we are open to the introduction of new technologies and, let's say, new methods of operating this vehicle, yet it is a cautious approach when it comes to safety and security, that once we progress, we make sure that the products demonstrate safety and security and reliability. After being progressive, it is also a collaborative approach where we are constantly in touch or consulting with the industry when it comes to developing our regulations, our guidance material to enable these operations. And it's at multiple levels. It's not one aspect of it is the certification, but then you have to look at the licensing of the personnel and the staff, the people who will be flying these vehicles when it comes to piloted operations or operating them from the ground. Then you have the maintenance aspect, as you see, because these vehicles, they use electric power and batteries, so it involves new methods of maintenance you have to make sure of. Then you have the integration into the airspace, where you have to have, there is the physical infrastructure part, which is the vertiports and the charging stations. At the same time, there is a digital infrastructure, which is the UTM, urban traffic management systems, and where you can monitor or how you're going to integrate them into the existing ATM, air traffic management. And lastly, we want our regulations to be enabling regulations. As in the morning, our Assistant Director General for Safety mentioned that we don't want the regulations to become a burden for the people or for our applicants or our companies. We want them to be enabling regulations which make it easier, yet at the same time a safe method of regulating these aircraft or these eVTOLs. So it's, let's say, a two-sided approach where it is enabling. At the same time, as we go forward, we make sure that these are safe to operate.
Enabling with care.
Again?
Enabling with care.
Yes, exactly.
And so apart from all of the compliance and testing, how will you make the public more accepting and comfortable with the concept of this new type of air travel?
Is it for me?
It can be for whomever wants to answer.
I'll take it, and then maybe the others can elaborate more on it. So again, from our side, see, DriftX happened last year, and from then until now, we have progressed a lot in terms of seeing actual eVTOLs, air taxis, making test operations and experimental operations in the United Arab Emirates skies, in Abu Dhabi as well as in other Emirates as well. So this in itself is a way of demonstrating to the public that this let's say, this scenario is taking shape. Another way of demonstrating, let's say, the trust is that having panel discussions such as these and events such as these where people like the general public can come and attend and can come and hear it from the experts themselves, whether they are regulators, whether they are the government authorities or the operators and the manufacturer of such aircraft. So it is the collaborative, let's say again, effort of all of these entities to demonstrate to the public that they are these let's say vehicles will be safe to take flight, and they, to help them gain the confidence in boarding these vehicles. Thank you.
And Matt, you're doing demonstrations.
Yeah, no, in fact, more than demonstrations, we've actually launched commercially in the US under regulations that allow our type of aircraft to fly.
And this is in Austin?
This is in Austin, Texas, where we're based. We've also toured through Florida and some other places. But yeah, for the last 21 months, we've had really anyone from the general public. We have a long wait list, but we train people to fly. So ours is a different class, not an air taxi. It's an aircraft that you fly as the passenger. You're the pilot, right? So we train you in less than an hour, and then you're what we call a beginner pilot, and so you can fly in this pretty conservative geofenced area, right? So that's the first step, and we've just had an incredible response, right? So people see these aircraft, they see, demonstration flights happening, they see a lot of videos on social media, but I tell you, until somebody boards an aircraft and experiences flying themselves, they just have an aha moment and they say, oh my God, this technology is here. I just did that. If I can do it, anyone can do it. And by the way, it felt super safe and it was really quiet. And please let me now fly from my house to work, right? That's the next question we get from people.
Case, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
Yeah, I think one comment to make. From an adoption point of view of this new industry and making sure that passengers will adopt the business model, I think redundancy is the key word. Do away with single points of failure. Make sure that the aircraft can withstand a bird strike. Anything happening in the world we have to think of, we have to test for it, we have to certify for it, and we have to think what happens in case of. So Abu Dhabi Airport, for example, knows if we build a vertiport here, what happens if suddenly it is no longer available to land while batteries are being depleted? Then the aircraft has to be able to divert. So what are the alternate landing positions? That thinking has to be part of our industry, but it also has to be used in the external communication because it will adopt the safety and makes it a safe, I would say, adventure for the passengers to adopt. Very important.
Talib, saving the best for last.
Oh,
You've
thank
got
you.
a minute.
Very kind of you. So when we look at getting the general public to adopt this new form of transportation, eVTOL aircraft, we focused on this from the very beginning, right? And it's three challenges: noise, safety, and cost, right? For you to convince the public or people who kind of take helicopters today to adopt this new form of transportation, it needs to be way less noisy. It needs to be much cheaper than a helicopter, and then it also needs to be very safe. And I'm borrowing from Case here with the redundancy, right? Our aircraft has multiple redundancies, 12 engines, it has a wing, it has 3 flight computers. So what we've built in there is an aircraft that has the levels of commercial airliners in terms of safety, and we believe that safety, that's kind of the first and most important barrier that you need to get over, and obviously cost and noise are an additional plus. We're very excited to be bringing our aircraft to commercial operations next year, beginning those passenger operations. We've already started early commercial operations this year with our partner Abu Dhabi Aviation, and we're very excited.
And you have it on display in Dubai, right?
So we've flown it in Abu Dhabi, actually. We've flown it in here in the Emirate of Abu Dhabi, in Al Bateen Airport, and in other locations. And we're excited to continue our progress there.
And we are at time, but I just want to make one request. Please put coffee holders in your craft, okay? For those of us addicted to coffee. Anyway, thank you so much for sticking with us, and keep looking up.
Thank you.